This is Kimberly Reuter, business advisor and supply chain expert, and welcome to my podcast, The Morning Mood. Today, we have with us a very, very, very special guest, Tianna Symmonds. She and I worked together at Amazon way back in the day. You may have noticed some of her comments on LinkedIn about how we were referred to as Brooklyn and Philly by our exalted leader when we worked together in operations. Because he associated big attitudes with big cities. And so that's how we got that reputation. But Tianna is joining us today. She's going to tell us a little bit about herself, and then she's going to share her greatest lesson that she's learned and how she has applied it to her success. So, Tianna, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here,
Oh,
Kim. I'm so excited. Um,
I know. It's
um,
good. It's really good.
it
So tell
is.
us a little bit, like, tell us like how you got here. You did some amazing stuff at Amazon. You have some tech patents. So tell us about all your amazingness.
Thank you. Well, coming out of school, my first job was at Hewlett Packard, HP. So I went from Brooklyn to Pittsburgh for school and somehow ended up in Corvallis, Oregon. Out of all places,
Oh
Corvallis,
Lord.
Oregon is where I
Yep.
ended up. Excited. It was a time at HP where it was all about HP Invent. That was the time HP Invent came out, and we were doing amazing creative solutions. And I think that's where my drive for fixing whatever needed to be fixed. I did a lot of logistics and
Hmm.
supply chain work there, and that work continued in my path. Lo and behold, somehow I ended up at the lovely doors of Amazon where I got to spread my wings of creativity in ways that we got to make changes that people didn't know they even wanted or needed in their
Yes.
lives. And to be
Yeah.
at the
Someone else.
ground floor. Yeah,
Someone else did this to me the other day too. That back and then we were solving problems customers didn't know they had.
that part, that
Yep.
part. And exciting. Like people used to ask, isn't Amazon like just hard and rough and I'm like, no, it's exciting because I get to do amazing things that folks don't even think about. So
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
And then I got to take all the things I've learned in corporate organizations and transition into education. So for the
Oh
last
wow.
yeah,
How did that go?
that was a major transition for me, but one that I am so grateful and humble to have had. I got to walk into educational institutions for 9 years and bring that same kind of creativity and solutions to day-to-day
Excellent. Yeah.
operations.
Yep.
So imagine parents checking in with the QR code when they're late to drop off their kids and
Nice.
automating the process so the registrar doesn't have to spend all day transcribing
Typing it in or
this,
this, that, or the other. Yeah.
right?
The business of running a school, the operation of running a school.
The back
Yeah.
of the house is real. It is
Yes.
real,
Especially
and
today.
especially. So
Yeah.
that joy excited me, and I was no longer working for product and things.
Yeah. Got it.
I was now focused on our next generation and doing things to
Yeah.
solve problems
Humans.
for them and the amazing people who
Yeah.
actually stand in front of them in the classroom every day.
Yes.
Yo,
I know.
hats off to the teachers. Hats off. Totally.
I know we
So,
dealt with a lot of toddlers in our careers, but geez, at least not every day, all the time.
yes. So that's what I've
Yeah.
been doing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I've now
Yeah.
transitioned. I'm in early retirement,
Yes.
but also excited about now sharing my gifts. So hopefully through coaching and
Yes.
consulting, that's where my
Yeah.
career journey has been. Yes.
Yeah. So you're on a similar path that I've taken, and there comes a point where there's almost like a calling to share.
Mhm.
And it's really weird, and it's kind of why I got into consulting is there was sort of almost this like it's a pull. that I couldn't really understand. Like it wasn't like something pushing me towards something. It was this really big desire to share everything that I'd learned
Yeah.
so that other people could be successful. And when you start to feel that, you have to follow it. You have to go.
Yes. You
Yeah.
there's no greater thing.
No, there isn't. There really isn't. Then it's not about the money. Like it's never, even in my consulting gig, this has never really been about the money.
No.
It's always been about the helping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, we don't know what we don't know,
Yeah.
and I don't want someone to be in a place that they're doing something just because they didn't have that nugget or they didn't have somebody there who could help them just get over.
Who could give them
So,
the perspective. Yeah.
yes. Yes.
Yeah, because you and I are we're talking. So Tiana and I, just a little side note here. We don't want to be distracted because I'm going to tell you, we've been 2 hours trying to get this 20-minute podcast recorded. So I don't want to get us going down wrong path here. But Tiana and I are talking about doing another series. We talk a little bit more deeply about, sort of the spiritual side of things and our experiences in coming up in operations, being only females in operations on the regular basis, kind of being
Yes.
discounted on a regular basis because we didn't look right.
Mhm.
And so we're going to do that a little bit later, but yeah, so all very good stuff. So I want to jump back. I love that you've been doing a lot of work in the education stuff, but I want to jump back a little bit back to Amazon because you have some
Yeah.
tech patents. And as you and I were discussing earlier, so I know she's laughing. I have tech patents too. Um, but you and I were kind of chit-chatting earlier before we started, and our friend Ron Lee said this to me, and I shared it with you, and you kind of agree. And I didn't realize it until Ron said it to me
Mhm.
is that the people who came after us at Amazon in our roles when we
Yes.
left,
Yep.
they're just maintaining what we built.
That part. That
To this day, the people who are running returns and inbound and outbound and all the stuff that you and I built from the
yes.
ground, have really just been maintaining what you and I built.
I agree. I would say the return space didn't get to the creative piece until right before I
Yep.
left. So there are a few things
Ah,
that they added on that I'm proud of. Like,
just a
I'm
couple.
like, just a couple of things, but their
Yeah.
principle is still to the heart of what's best for the customer.
Yeah.
That I was like,
Yeah.
but the fundamental algorithm for
Yep.
early refunds, I should say, right, is
Yeah.
still
Refunds.
in existence, but how you
Yep.
get and the multiple options that are now available for people to drop
Yeah.
off in different locations, that
Yeah.
expansion is
Yeah.
beautiful, brings me joy.
That did expand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. So you built out the early returns process,
I
right?
worked heavily with the team. We built the
Yep.
algorithm that helped
Yep.
determine when you see keep the item, don't return it,
Yeah.
right? Or when you do drop off the item and the carrier scans it, you get
Yep.
your refund compared to
Yeah.
when it
That was
actually
you.
needs to go back to the building. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was you. All right. All you people out there getting refunds when your UPS guy picks up the package. That was Tiana. And then the other thing you did was same day.
Yes. So when I got to my very first thing when I got to Amazon, Seattle was being tested. And then New York
Yeah.
was just launching, but all your
Yep.
other cities around the US, I had to go out and find those couriers, etcetera, to set up so that you can
Yeah.
get those deliveries same day.
Yeah.
Now
Eh,
we got
yeah.
Amazon drivers, but back then we didn't have Amazon deliveries.
Oh, I was telling the story the other day about this, how when we first started doing same day deliveries, what was the name of the company in Seattle we did it with that started? Lasership was in New York, right? But who was the company in Seattle?
Lasership was not New York. New York was A1.
Ah, who was Lasership?
Lasership was, Philly or DC,
Ah, okay, okay, okay,
and
okay.
then, we had
Who was
Dynamic
the CRO?
Dynamic.
Yes. Dynamic. That was the very first.
Yes.
And I was telling a story the other day, like, so same day and having couriers deliver your packages is just totally normal now, right? Totally normal.
But not back
When
then.
we started this, back then, people were calling and being like, "There's a stranger in my front
But
yard with my
and
Amazon
that's
package. I'm calling the police right now." Like, people were actually calling the police on the Amazon delivery guys. They
correct.
also were showing up in, like, wife beaters and cut off blue jean shorts, and we had to address that issue with the hoopties.
Yes.
I think it was a particular Volvo that was a Volvo station wagon that was a particular offense to some people. I don't know what it was about that, but I remember that vehicle. But yeah,
And
but you so remember it was, like, crazy. And
it
do you
was
also remember people were like, "No, I want my UPS man back." Like, I
mhm.
think we ended a few affairs.
We had to make adjustments. It wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily just ending the relationship, but we had to start setting guidelines for
Yeah.
how you showed up to people's homes. We had to set a time limit,
Uniforms,
right?
yeah, you can
And
deliver after a certain time. That's they're showing up at, like, 11 o'clock at night.
correct, correct. But we have to remember that these industries, they used to deliver documents during the
Yeah,
day.
that's all they did.
That's
Yep,
it. So now they
yep,
have multiple shifts. They got boxes. They've got
yep.
like you see a delivery man in New York
Signature
City
stuff, yeah, yeah,
wedding, that's normal.
yeah,
But you show
yeah,
up at somebody
yeah,
at the office, but show up at somebody's house.
yeah.
Hold up now. Who you?
Yeah, who is
What
this?
you
I don't know who it is. Yeah, there
yes,
was a lot of that. There was
yes,
a lot of we had to set parameters, couldn't deliver after 9.
yes.
Yeah, there was a lot, and so it was crazy because all of that seems normal now, right? Like, now you're like,
Correct.
"Duh, of
Yes.
course they should probably wear a uniform." But at the time, we were like, it never occurred to us that,
It
the guy would show up with his Bud Light cutoff T-shirt,
correct. It was
delivering our
all
Amazon
about the
packages.
experience for us, not the how
Yes.
people it was all about you don't have to go to your corner store or down the street to the pharmacy. We will get this to you right away. That was all we
Right.
were focused on.
And that's
And
yeah, and that was groundbreaking too, because up until then,
yeah.
it was like 2, 3 days was the best you were gonna get. Like, that's all that was it. There was no same the concept of delivering something the same day,
Unheard of.
and then it
Unheard
was
of.
also like, who would want that? Like, who cares? I'm just gonna go to the whether it's gonna go to the grocery store, nobody's gonna take advantage of that. Oh, hell.
It was
Yeah.
immediate.
Yeah.
Immediate. And people
Yeah.
didn't mind paying the
It
extra
was.
fee for it. It was
That's right, we
there was
charged for that too. It was like $7.
750 or something. Yes. They were no,
Yeah,
695.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, 6.99 or 6.95 was right in there, $7.
Is it?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah, it was
took
shocking.
off. It took off.
And then that was
And
the beginning of Fresh. That was the precursor to Fresh.
I haven't gone in a grocery store in 20 years. I've been spoiled, and the homes I've moved to around the country, the first thing I ask, does Amazon Fresh deliver? I need to check the app first, or else I can't live here.
I need to set that up right now. Yeah. It's
Spoiled.
amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
Spoiled. But when we
Spoiled.
were building that, or you were building that, I was working on other stuff. They nobody knew anybody needed that. I mean, we would
Nobody.
never have thought. I mean, now people get their prescriptions, right?
Guilty as charged. Like,
But
I don't
20
go to
years
the pharmacy.
ago, yeah, 20 years ago, I mean, we people were just still nervous about getting their underwear online. I mean, now
Yes.
they're
Yes.
getting everything, everything. All right, so you
Absolutely.
built a lot of cool stuff. As normal, we're running our mouth nonstop, and so we're gonna go over time. So let's get back on track.
Okay.
So Tiana and I are knocking around ideas for our little individual deep dive series, and we are thinking about, and if you have comments, please leave them about talking trash with Tiana. That may be what we call it. So just throwing that out there. So all right, so we've learned about Tiana, how she got where she is. So Tiana, what is the biggest lesson that you have learned in life,
Mhm.
personal or professional, and how have you applied that to your success?
biggest lesson learned is I can't do it alone. It takes others.
Ooh.
Um,
Now, I know personally that that was a tough lesson for you.
not the truth. Ain't that the truth?
'Cause
No,
girl, I had to learn that one too. You can go f if you wanna go fast, go alone. If you wanna go far, you gotta go together. Yeah,
perfectly said. Perfectly said.
yeah,
But it's also like I had a great foundation, but living with a single mom and being the eldest, you learn how to get things done
yeah,
with or without whomever you need to get it
yeah,
done.
yeah.
And I watched what my mom had to do, and I knew the things that I had to do to get to where I was.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no reason that first gen, born in the state, Brooklyn, New York, should end up in the places that I've ended up. But
Yeah,
I'm grateful for it, humbled by it, but also realized along the way that if I kept trying to do it by myself, I was going to fall. So,
yeah,
um, bringing people along in the process, teaching them, not holding on to the things that I knew, but instead building community in every way
yeah,
possible has made
yeah.
me move further along, has allowed for me to be in situations where
Yep,
my shoulders were tapped because it wasn't just about me, it
yeah,
was about the mission at
yeah.
hand or the people who we were serving, taking care of, loving on,
Mhm,
and making sure we're
mhm,
getting to that
mhm.
next location. So
Yeah,
I, I literally had one direct report say to me, "You seem to care more about the people who report to me than you do me." I said, "No. What you're seeing is I already have a time commitment with you.
right.
We sit down every week. We
Yeah,
also sit down in team meetings every week.
yep,
Like your team members, people who may report to them,
yeah,
as well as all the other team, they don't get time with me. So when you
right.
see me engage with them, it's to check in on them. Because sometimes people don't share everything with everybody. But if you start building community, how do we know how we're going to help grow them? Because hopefully you want my job. If you want my job or a job equivalent to mine, I got to also make sure there's somebody who's going to sit in your seat.
Exactly.
So we all are sharing in this.
Yes.
So
It's really interesting because I run into that a lot too, where, they're like, don't talk to my people, or, you don't need to know that I'm managing them. You don't need to engage with them. I saw a very interesting graphic on LinkedIn today, and it was called the iceberg of ignorance.
ooh, ooh,
And it was a really great graphic. And basically, what it showed is that the C suite only see about 4% of what's actually happening.
yes,
Right? All this down here that's happening that no one has, visibility to. And then the other thing, you just kinda touched on it too, and I know you act this way because we've worked together, is that I firmly believe the higher you go, the less you know.
that part, that part,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, and
true,
you just said
so
it
true.
too, that you're like, "Hey, I'm bringing people in. I wanna hear what they have to say. I don't know everything. What do you have to bring to the table? What are you talking about?" Like,
Yep.
that's what makes great leaders and takes people really far.
It's huge. And I sitting down, so for example, about a year ago, I sat down with on all the technicians that reported up to my support services team. And just being able to hear actually what they wanted for themselves. Some of them
Yeah.
Some of them didn't want to be technicians, but they were in the role right now and wanted to be
They had other
project
aspirations.
managers, wanted to be other. And I'm like, so that's why you haven't gone after that certification and you kept being dinged for it. But we need to make sure you're getting a project management course. Like, let's why are we not talking to our people in a way that's going to make them want to show up, but then also help them for that next
Safe.
opportunity?
Yeah, and feel safe.
Yes.
Just to have people feel like they can express themselves, that they have aspirations.
Mhm.
I talk a lot about, the Amazon's famous failing fast, right? Fail fast and learn. And how
Yes.
many companies, they only get the front part, the fail fast. Like, we're failing fast. I'm like, no, it's the and learn at the other end. But the people don't feel safe doing that, right? Because there's no learning at the other end of it.
But that's how I've always been, and I'm
Yeah.
grateful for
Yeah.
Amazon for that. Like, there's a
It's
major technical change I put a request
Mhm,
for that I should have probably been fired for, but instead it was, "Oh,
mhm.
this was actually really good for
Yeah.
the customer. How do we change our network so that we can continue to do this and learn from it and be better?" Man, the things we did
Right.
because of that
Right.
mistake. Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
You didn't
That
get dinged because you did something that was out of protocol. Yeah.
no, no. So it's that I would love for all people to have that experience. I hate that folks don't have that experience now. The
I
way
do.
we are.
I agree with that too. Yeah. That it's just like that there's not that safe environment for it. But I
Mhm.
also don't, like I said, I also don't see a lot of companies embracing that other end of it either, which is the
Yeah.
learning piece of it. Okay, so great lesson learned, which is you can't do it alone. And so how have you applied this to your success? You talk a little bit about it, but give me some more specifics.
Yeah. So for me, if I could bring someone with me, I do. When I give a presentation, for example, I make sure folks know who all was a part of it, right? I
Yep.
When new information comes up about direction change, I see managers like, "Oh, I'm not going to tell my team for a couple of months." I'm the first one, like, "Okay, this is coming. These are the things we need to start thinking about." And especially if it's bad
Yep.
news or hard news, like, guys, all right,
Mhm.
let's get in your feelings if you got to right now, but we need to then get over it.
Mhm.
It's coming. How are we
Mhm.
planning for it so
Mhm.
that when your friends find out,
Mhm.
because unfortunately they may not find out,
Right.
you are now prepared with
Yeah.
solutions and we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
piece, don't sit in it alone because you're going to hold on to it
Yes.
and the shoulders go up. You're now carrying this thing
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
we good. Let's operate together. Let's solve together.
Yeah.
Let's do this thing
Yeah.
together. So that for me is how it's really showed up, especially in my leadership and then peer
Yes.
community, because it
Yeah.
makes those, especially on the peer community, if one of us knows and it's going to impact, we all got to lead our teams. So
Yeah.
something's sitting in silence and not being shared amongst the peers,
Yeah.
it's going to hurt the organization more than help it.
It always does. It always does. And I have never understood why people hold stuff like hoard information is basically what they're doing. A power play, I don't know why they do it, but there is no benefit to it. Yeah.
Information, is there a Matthew McConaughey commercial like information data is the new gold? No, it has been the gold.
If there is anything with Matthew McConaughey on it, I'm gonna tell you I've watched it a couple dozen times. If I miss that, please send it to me. Um, I need to add it to
Yes.
my file.
I'll get that for you. But
Er,
no, information is people hoard things because they it's a safety thing. It is
Yeah,
it's a
it is.
security thing.
Power.
Some for
Yeah.
power, others for not knowing they would how to react if somebody else reacts. They don't know how to handle
Mhm.
it. They don't know what to do with
Yep,
it themselves. So
yep.
the easiest thing is let me just hold on to it and let me see.
Yeah,
Um,
let me see what happens. Yeah, because I can't explain it. I don't want to be expected to explain it to somebody else. Yeah, exactly. That makes
versus
sense.
being free. You and I talked about
Yeah,
freedom earlier, being
yeah,
free and saying, I don't know what's going to happen. But
yeah,
here's the thing that's going to happen, how it's going to impact. I don't know yet. But
yep,
let's talk about it and maybe
exactly.
we can think about some ways to offset it, or it's going to happen. So let's be prepared with what things we need to put in place in support of it. But some
Yeah,
people
and
are
be prepared for it. Yeah.
correct. Correct.
Yeah, and that all comes back to that working with together, being collaborative, being community, and all pulling in the same direction.
Correct.
100%. Yeah,
Yes.
that all goes together.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, Tiana, great lesson, great experiences you shared with us. We are close to our time. We are definitely going to come back and have a Tiana specific series, I guess is what we would call it. And we'll come up with a name. Freedom is another word that you and I talk about a lot.
We do. We do. Um,
With the word freedom comes up a lot when you and I speak, and so that might be another
that might be it.
that might
Okay.
be
I
it
know we're gonna
because
play
we are
with it. We're
free
gonna
women.
play with it. We're gonna play with it.
We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna play with it. All right. So thank you everyone for joining us today. As always, I appreciate my audience being here, and we will talk to you tomorrow.